Hi guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. This has been a highly requested video, so I'm finally making the video. So let's get into the chart and go over the scalp model that I use that has landed me quite a lot of success. If you follow me on X or Discord, you know that it's been working out pretty well for me. So I'm going to share it with you guys today. Now, before I get into this, I have to stress that this model, it's purely based on intuition. It's also a reflection of how I read the market. Okay, so this isn't something that is going to work for everyone. Something that I've kind of been doing for quite a few months now, since the start of the year, and it works for me, right? It's just how I read price, it's the intuition, and that's not something I can teach, but I'm making the video so you guys can maybe see an insight into what it is I look for. So getting into this, I don't really care about bias. It's what's more important for me. It's where on the higher time frame, so like the 15-minute, if I'm trading on the 1-minute scalping, it's where is price likely to sweep a high or a low, or if we have a devil's mark, price is likely to go back to that. So with that in mind, what I will do is I will always mark out the hourly ranges and what I can see on the hourly. So on the hourly, this is what we have. We have a bearish order block here that was created on this displacement candle close. We also have this range, so from this high to this low, we have our 50%, which is around here. Price at the minute is trading obviously above that 50%, and we've now tapped into this 1 hour bearish order block. So now on the 15-minute time frame, we can kind of see our higher time frame analysis that we just drew out, and this is how price looks now. Now you can see we had New York open obviously at 9:30, and we had the displacement leg up to these points of interest. Now obviously I'm not going to be scalping on the 15-minute, so now we're on this 1-minute time frame. This is how I would have read price as it would have printed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to New York open. We're kind of going to play out price, right, with the 15-minute higher time frame here. So a scalp that I would say here, this is intuition, right? If price was to come up to just about here, this level here, it would make sense for me that price would want to sweep out this higher time frame high. So with that being said, I'm only looking for 3 to 5 or 5 to 10 points with my scalps. So I would put a buy stop in this case here and a TP, let's say up here. It could be 3 points. If I wanted to go for 5 points, it would be up here. So it would look like this. We can see how price plays out. And then price blasts through it on this 1-minute scalps. And that's 5 points that I would have captured there on my scalp at the open. Now we're going to let price play out a little bit more and just see how it plays out. We have a 1-minute no wick here. I don't really care too much about 1-minute no wicks. It's more about the higher time frame, but we're going to stay on the 1-minute to the 15-minute higher time frame and just see how price plays out. Okay, so we now have this sort of setup. It's similar to this setup we had here. If price was to come up to this high again, what am I expecting? I'm expecting that price could potentially sweep out that high again. So again, what am I going to be doing? I can put a order here, TP 5 points, and we can see how this plays out. So we would have got tagged in here. We at the minute are suffering about 5 points in drawdown. But on this next candle, we blast through it, it's another 5 points. And you can see I'm only going for 5 points here. I'm not looking for any home runs, but again, if you wanted to extend it, if you were feeling like you had a higher time frame draw, which in this case I do, but like there's no like nothing here, right? So I wouldn't get too greedy, and I would kind of just go for that, you know, TP just above that high. And that's 5 points, right? So we've already captured 10 points. And to be honest, I'd probably be done for the day. You know, with my sizing that I do, that's about 3 grand on the day on one account if I took it on one, and so forth. But that draw being up here, that 1 hour order block, if that was potentially a draw that I had in mind. But yeah, this is quite bullish. So again, we're just going to sit back and just watch price action a little bit. And now what I'm kind of doing here with price, so if you understand my kind of how I trade in my main model, you would know that this is a supporting order block. So if this is going to kind of reverse and continue higher, I'm expecting this 50% to hold. So let's see where this next 1-minute candle ends. And we can see we are respecting 50% here. So again, it's not something that I would take because I don't like these sort of setups. But this to here, another 5 points, I wouldn't feel comfortable taking it. I'd kind of need this 15-minute higher time frame to now kind of play out. But We can see how this main model would work out if it does, and we are just going up higher. So if this was, which is my main model, if I was to take it, it would look something like this, and you could kind of just target 2R, right? Which kind of lines up with that order block there. And we can kind of see what happens here. For scalping, there's nothing here for me to really take. There's potential that I could take a setup here, so from this high to this high here. So if I did take that, it would look something like on that candle's close. And then in this case, I'd probably go for that 1 hour order block, so 11 points. I'm just going to remove this for now. So let's see how this plays out. So price has just gone lower, that's absolutely fine. If we were to come back up here, it would even make more sense for us to go higher. And I'm okay with this. And now I would be break even if I wasn't tagged out here. And we can see what the next candle does. And that's TP there. So that would have been 11.25 points that we could have grabbed there. But going back to this, that main model clearly also playing out with that draw of that 1 hour order block, if that was my draw. So that's kind of actually showing you guys two things really, scalping and the main model in action, and how I use 50% exactly here. And this is like a textbook example of 50% being respected. This close here just below it, I can give it that wiggle room. If you watch my previous videos, you'll know like in this kind of box area around 50% is my wiggle room, but you can see how we kind of respect that and push higher. So yeah, and also if this is a fair value gap here, what is created on this candle, that is potential for another long on that candle's close with my stop at this low. And again, you could target 2R. In this sense, when that POI gets hit, it's a bit more risky, and we can see how this plays out. When with this bullish, it's a bit risky, but again, it plays out. And I actually want to show now another example of, you see this 15-minute candle that has no wick here. This for me, if we're about 12 points away from it, I can look to get on side with this probably about 5 points before. So I could look to potentially take a short position here. TP just at that low, let's say 6 points. And let's see how this plays out. You can see price is pushing up higher. This is okay for me. I would keep watching this. I wouldn't want to be longing anything, especially with this devil's wick mark, sorry. Still going up higher. And yeah, this just looks like a trending day, but this would be a POI for me definitely to go back to. So let's say I set an alert here. We can watch what happens. Okay, so let's say I have an alert that was triggered about here. And I'm still looking for this potential move. Okay, so now that price is now approaching my area of interest to come back to sweep that 15-minute, which we have down here. I'm still going to have this order in because I'm still interested in that. So let's see what happens. We get tagged in here. And there we go. That's our 6 points there. And this is like a great trading day if I took these trades. Obviously, this is in hindsight. I've played this one by one. Guys, that is pretty much it. I just wanted to create a quick video for it. I hope it kind of makes sense on what it is I'm looking for, especially with that higher time frame 15-minute structure, and just where price could potentially sweep for me to take a scalp. And that is literally the model. Again, it's based on intuition, so I can't teach it. It's how you read price yourself, right? That is how I read price in a way. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will hope to do my best to get back to you with an answer. Take care, guys. Bye bye.